And we're back with another episode of Every Game Ever. We're here playing Star Wars Jedi Knight Jedi Academy. We just survived Tremors, and we're going to see what other movie they've plagiarized for our next mission.
Spoiler alert, it's Star Wars.
Ooh.
Emergency Assistance, Bakura. It's my turn to read it this time, so you remember.
Do your best announcer voice, Erik.
I don't really...
Put some bass into it.
Officials from the planet Bakura have requested our assistance. An unknown party has taken control of a power station up in the mountains. They sent a team to investigate, but they haven't reported in. Their concerns are twofold. They want to stop whoever's taken over the station, and more importantly, ensure that the station itself remains undamaged. The station is built over a dormant volcano, and if the facility is destroyed, the volcano could destroy a heavily populated city. The Bakurans need someone to
there's a lot on this one.
Infiltrate the facility and thwart the group's plans.
Kyle is currently away from the academy, but he will meet you on Bakura. Then the two of you can investigate the station. Be sure to wait for him before you do anything.
Guess what I don't do?
Well, I'm just thinking back to, like, Rosh, where it's like, I don't do anything. Like, here's a thought. What if, like, his missions go exactly like your missions?
Yeah.
It's just, like, for him being, like, clearly, like, a young, promising Sith Lord, it's like, I only killed, like, 50 people. He never lets me do anything. I think he's afraid of my power. It's like, or it's because you killed 200 people in your last mission. Like,
Which was a diplomatic conference.
It's like you literally just had to deliver a vending machine to a fuel outpost. The kid was looking at me weird.
You see, so this isn't actually an X-Wing. This is
Should have brought my Game Boy.
This is an X-Wing. This is a Z-95 Headhunter, which was before the X-Wing, so it's an older ship. I don't know why, so by this point, the ship is 30 years old. I don't know why I'm flying around a 30-year-old ship. Why couldn't I have an X-Wing? That's my question.
Well, it's one of those things that I have this theory that, like, technology regresses in the Star Wars universe. Granted, like, my thought on that was when I was a little kid, like, you see the sleek Naboo fighter, and then you end up with a clunky X-Wing. Well, but the Naboo fighter, I understand, is a short-range vessel. It's literally meant to defend Naboo. It has no long-distance capabilities.
Actually, it's an okay, mostly it's an okay one, but that's a design thing. So the Naboo, the N1 Starfighter was developed by the Naboo. I wanted to say Nabooians.
Nabooyah!
Was developed by the Naboo, where the X-Wing was developed by Incom. And by the time we see them in the movies, most of those ships have been through combat several times.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things, though. It's like, it really like, the TIE Fighter seems like a really cool idea, as long as they're coming at you head-on, because from the side, that is a giant area to hit, you know?
Bombs, Erik. Oh, no.
They're going to blow the whole installation. I have to stop that countdown.
You're supposed to wait!
Supposed to wait for Kyle! Get back here! God! You guys are not cooperative at all. It's the worst.
The funny... Okay, so this is 10 years after the fall of the Empire, right?
Yes.
Is it weird that there's still, like, stormtroopers?
So there was an Imperial... Wow, thanks for honking and interrupting our thing, dicks.
I'm not even sure that picked it up.
Well...
There was honking.
So there's an Imperial remnant, the last of the...
You open the door, they both turn to look at you, you throw the lightsaber between them, and they just continue to keep looking at you like, oh, he's an enemy!
So that happened.
Sorry. I go ahead. And, okay, that happened too. They just...
Why were they standing right behind each other?
Why did they teleport in via, like, a la Star Trek?
It wasn't a teleporter, it was, camouflage.
Oh, it was a camouflage? It looked like they just, like... Yeah, so, like, I understood, like, at the beginning, like, there's, like, a Imperial Remnant, whatever, right? But it's basically, like, they're basically the rebels now. You know?
Yeah, kinda. Okay, so there is one weird thing. So, the Imperial Remnant, there's some questions here because in the Star Wars universe, it's 20 years after... I don't know if it's 20 years after the Battle of Yavin, or... It's 20 years after the Battle of Yavin, so the first movie, where the Empire becomes the Imperial Remnant, and they have a peace treaty. At this point, there still should just be if I remember right, there still should just be a handful of Imperials that are fighting for dominance. Like, they're fairly unorganized at this point.
Okay, 4 more to go.
Yeah, that you saw from the security footage. Like, what if they planted bombs that weren't in an area covered by security footage?
Well, they were being very... Why did I come down here? There's nothing down here. Okay, never mind. Can I not get to anything? Nope.
Yeah, that was one of the things, like, I had problems with in Shadow of the Empire, too, is you'd have things like that, where it's like, here's an elevator that leads to nowhere, and you'd kill yourself thinking, like, there's gotta be something down here.
Yeah.
You know? That was... Like, it's very clear, like, in a lot of these games, the people who made them had no idea how to design levels.
Yeah.
But this is just past the era where, like, some of the puzzles you'd be solving was just, like, walk across this narrow walkway that twists back and forth, you know? And that was something I was, like, thinking about the other day, where it's all like, remember there was an era where just, like, the concept of navigating a 3D space was in and of itself the challenge?
I just want to know what this guy was thinking watching me do that. Be like, and we're losing to these guys. Right?
We lost to this.
Yeah.
You need a security key. It's like, yeah, because, you know, you can't just slice your way through that door. You can charge blasters.
Yeah, well, this one.
Oh.
I don't know if that's actually canon or not. Because Han never does it, and this is a DL-44. DH-44? Something 44. D something.
The Stormtrooper armor seems like a really poor design, because, like, they still go down after one blaster shot. Like, even... And I think it's not, like, I understand, like, the Wookiee bowcaster, because that's like a shotgun, right?
Yeah.
But, I mean, Han Solo's using a holdout blaster.
No, this is a large blaster. This is a high-powered.
In the movies, Han is using a holdout blaster. Like, he's just... It's like a pistol, you know?
No, so there literally is a holdout blaster. So the little one that Leia has is a holdout blaster. Han's is actually a heavy-duty blaster.
Well, the still idea is it's
a handgun.
Yeah, it's a small arms thing. We have armor that we provide to our soldiers nowadays that can stop small arms fire.
Oh.
I mean, it's not going to be like a walk in the park. They're still going to get hurt, but they're not like ah! from a glancing shot to the shoulder anymore.
Yeah.
You know, they don't all become Wilhelm.
Yeah. You're just jealous that there are Wilhelms in a galaxy far, far away.
I'm just jealous that I can't do the Wilhelm scream.
Yeah, neither can I.
Like, everyone knows what it sounds like. It's so hard to, like, do that exact scream, though.
Yeah. I doubt there's anything down here.
It's probably in case you fall from that walkway.
Yeah, probably. But...
There might be something down here. Can you break those open?
No.
So you know that kind of reminds me of... it's kind of random.
There really should be something hidden here.
Well, for some reason, those boxes there remind me of the truck from Pokemon.
Oh, yeah.
You know? That was the one thing that asshole RJ was actually telling the truth about.
Yeah.
I think I referenced RJ in one of my videos, but there's a kid I knew growing up, and his name was RJ. And, like, he was the kid who would lie about everything. He was the one who was like, well, my uncle works at Nintendo, and they're totally working with Sony for the next system. It's going to be able to play all of the all of the Nintendo games, like the new games that they kind of come out with it, all the way back to the old Nintendo, and all of the PlayStation games too. Which, I mean, to be fair, he wasn't 100% wrong, because there is a prototype PlayStation that plays Super Nintendo games and PlayStation games. Or that could have. I don't know if it can do PlayStation games. You know? But, like, he always told lies like that. He was the one who was like, if you use cut on the back of the SSN, you can go into, like, the cargo hold of the ship, and then that's where you'll catch Mew. The rut being that you needed to have a Pokemon with Surf and a Pokemon with Cut at that point. And, found out you can't use Cut while you're surfing.
Yeah.
But he also told me, it's like, yeah, and by the SSN, there's a truck there. If you use Strength on it, you'll catch Mew. It was another rumor he told me as fact. And, I believed him because there actually was a truck. Like, it's infamous now. There's just a truck that you just see nowhere else in the game, just sitting on a small island next to the SSN in the original Pokemon games. And, I don't know what it's for. To be fair, Miyamoto was the one who came up with the idea of keeping one of the Pokemon, like, unobtainable, but still in the game, so kids, they would get more mileage out of the game without having to spend extra money. Like, it would stay relevant for longer. Yeah. And I think, evidently, that was... on thermal detonator, want to take those out?
Yeah, but I think it's the I'm telling you how to live my game.
Fuck you! I'm sorry, are you the Jedi? No, I didn't think so.
I didn't tell you how to play, Zelda.
Didn't seem like you were very present with Zelda, though.
We talked all the time on Zelda.
Oh, like, during Zelda, yeah. Not about Zelda, though. I still feel...
Well, it's kind of hard when I don't know the story.
There's not much of a story, and it's hard when I'm just blitzing through the gameplay, and there's not... Yeah.
Alright.
Maybe what I'm suggesting is that my insistence that we do a Zelda Month video around a game that I played to death wasn't the best inaugural game to play for our Every Game Ever series. And for people wondering, we had some technical issues when we were trying to record the regular Legend of Zelda randomized. And so we weren't able to post those up. We hope to try it again sometime soon when neither of us are so angry at the capture card for failing on us. So did one of the bombs just go off, or?
If I remember right, there was somebody who has a giant gun or something.
Well, he's got a giant gun.
Yeah. Yeah, too bad for him. I'm a Jedi.
In training.
Yeah. More of a Jedi than you are.
I think I went to a Jedi day camp once.
Wait, really?
I remember doing something like that, where it was like, it was one of those weird things, because it was for little kids, obviously. Like, I think I was like 8 or 9, and like we did this like Jedi day camp. It was basically just day camp, but they like pretended like all of the obstacle courses were like Jedi training things and stuff. It was there was absolutely no Star Wars lore in it at all, you know? It wasn't like, you know how important it is for a Jedi to make their own lightsaber. That didn't show up at all. It was like a bunch of 12-year-olds babysitting a bunch of like 7 and 8-year-olds and being like, yeah, we're Jedi Masters, and you have to do what we say, kind of deal.
Yeah.
But so this is unrelated to it, but it reminded me of it.
You got molested that weekend by a Jedi Master?
Wishes he was a master.
Jedi Master Vader, maybe. Yeah.
Oh.
No, it's so in 6th grade we had this field trip, and it was like a team building exercise. To your left. Got him. I don't know what it was, but it was really cool. It was a Star Trek simulator, right? Yeah. Where like all of us had different crew positions. We all had to work together, and it was really fun, right?
Yeah.
But it was like, we were given explicit instructions about how we were to interact with the stuff around us, and we need to be careful with it because it's expensive equipment.
Yeah.
I mean, it was computers and stuff. And, I was like, don't interact with the high school students who were running the simulator, right?
Yeah.
They were very adamant about, it's like, hey, don't don't get, don't attack these kids. Try not to touch them if you can,
Yeah.
And I always thought that was kind of a weird thing to say, like, are we going to, just suddenly swarm the high school kids or whatever? But, well, what ended up happening is, we were on a small shuttle. I was the engineer. I had my little cubby in the back, and anytime, we got hit by blaster fire, and they're like, we need, we need to divert energy. I was back
was
there
it
on the
a
screen.
wooden block? It was a touchscreen?
Well, they had a touchscreen for, the power regulation, but then, if something our blasters are down, we need, our photon torpedoes are down, we need to get those back online, they would, Mission Control would send us schematics on how to fix it, and it was I would have to plug plug here first. It's green wire here to here, and then they have these little wooden key cards that I have to put in certain slots at the right time and stuff. It was really fun. I love doing it. But one, our shields went down really early. Our blasters went down really early on, and we were supposed to be helping defend against some Klingons. And they're like, hey, why aren't you guys fighting? And it's all and then someone called me and I was like, engineer, why haven't you fixed our blasters? And I'm like, I don't know how. It's well, follow the instructions. What instructions? And then there was a pause, did you not receive anything? No! We've been asking for it for 10 minutes now. Alright, well, we'll get that to you. But I remember we got boarded and the guys came in and took the thing we were escorting and walked out. And afterwards, in our debriefing, they're like, "Why did you just let him take it?" And it's we were specifically told. They said not to touch him. We could have swarmed him, but I thought we weren't supposed to. I always remember that because I felt it was bullshit. We kept getting in trouble for doing exactly what they told us to do. Yeah, I saw. He threw the thermal detonator up there right there, and he didn't even run. He's just okay, this will turn out good.
I have accepted my fate.
That was a fun-ass field trip, though. I wish we could have done that more.
I remember, when I was in 4th grade, they came around and said, hey, do you want to go to space camp?
Oh, yeah, Terry, you went to space camp.
Yeah. And I was interested in space until I went to space camp. I tell this story to my mom, and she's like, oh, I thought you'd have a good time. And it's no, I mostly did. There was a lot of stuff that was fun, but there was also, some bull.
Well, it was one of those things, I thought you'd have fun. It's well, to be fair, Mom, so did I.
Yeah.
You had no reason to believe that I wouldn't, that this wouldn't be an experience of a lifetime.
Yeah. She's that camp was expensive, and I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, they turned a hefty profit that week.
Yeah, because pretty much the food we ate was the exact same food that we got at the school.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was
I remember
not expensive
taking
food.
my mom a brochure to space camp. I'm please, it's only $1,000, and I'm I was maybe 10 at the time, so I knew $1,000 was a lot, but I didn't know how much $1,000 was a lot.
I think for us
I didn't get to go.
I think I did the longest. I did a week, whatever. I did a week.
Anyway, go on.
So, I did the week, and I think that was about 600, I think. I'm not 100% sure. So, there was a lot, I had a really hard time sleeping because, obviously because it was a bunch of kids, they had those rubber mattresses.
The squeaky ones.
Yeah, and so it took me forever to get to sleep. So, after a couple days, I was pretty sleep deprived. And it's it's not their fault. That's something that they have to do. It's,
Yeah.
But I was pretty tired, and I was getting, I was getting kind of moody. And I remember one time, I couldn't even tell you why it happened, but I started pretty much getting a panic attack, watching at the planetarium. We went to the Utah State Planetarium.
Only one more.
Utah State University Planetarium. And we were watching this thing, and it's talking about how small we are in the universe. And I don't know why, but I think I was 10, maybe 11. That freaked me out.
It's probably the acid they put in your water that morning. Oh God!
Yeah, so I just started.
Mom says I'm the center of her universe. I can't be this small.
So, yeah, it was I just started freaking out, and so I had to go to the bathroom, and I was trying to calm down. So and I was kind of having a panic attack, and I told the kid sitting next to me, I was like, hey, tell
So-and-so.
Tell our counselor that I ran
to the
bathroom real quick. So it wound up taking me so long, like I didn't know how long the thing was, like how long the
movie was.
Yeah. And I wound up like sitting in there so long, just like kind of hyperventilating. Not even hyperventilating, but just like kind of freaking out that like the thing had ended. And so I leave the bathroom to go back and sit down and
You want to heal.
and wait for the end of the wait for the movie to end. And I get there, I get out of the bathroom, I get maybe 3 steps, and everybody from Space Camp is standing there waiting for me.
You're like, I'll be back. Turn around right back into the bathroom and start breathing again.
Yeah. And I'm like, hi. And they're like, why didn't you tell us you left? And I was like, I told him to tell the counselor that I went to the bathroom. And like, she was like the assistant director or something like that. And she was so mad at me. And she was just like so mean. And I'm like, I went to the bathroom. You know, like how far out is that? Like, I don't... And, like, the real question here is, like, when everybody's like, where the hell is he? Where did he go? This kid's just sitting there, just like, I wonder if I should say something.
You know he wasn't paying attention. That's honest. Like, I've had that happen.
Well, you know what the thing was? Is I told him twice, because I wound up going back after, like, 5 minutes, and I was still kind of, like, I wasn't in a good spot, and so I was like, okay, I need to just head back out to the bathroom.
We did it!
That does it. Better get back to my ship.
Like, that was pretty much
Kyle's gonna be so mad that I left. You're gonna stand there, all the Jedi are gonna be standing outside next to your ship, like, why didn't you tell us you were disarming bombs, Terry? This happening again! We're gonna let this episode run a little bit longer. I just want to finish this mission up.
Yeah.
Because this is gonna be a good stopping point when we end this. Just...
Well, I remember, like, so the kid, the girl that came to our class, she was probably, I don't know, she was a junior high student, I think.
Yeah.
That came and she's like, oh, I've been going to space camp for X amount of years. And this was probably the second time they'd come to us, and I was, the second year they'd come to us, and I'm like, oh, I want to do that so bad. So I asked my mom, and I went, and one of the things that sold me is I remember there was this movie called Rocket Man with,
Elton John.
No, I'll have to look him up. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. He plays the doofy guy in like every movie. He's the guy that drank the pee in Dumb and Dumber.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And so like in the movie he's going to Mars. But there's a scene in it where he gets in a Newton chair and he's like, his face is getting all stretched out. Yeah. And I'd seen that in a couple other things, and so they said, oh, we have the Newton chair. And I'm like, oh my god, they have a Newton chair.
Yeah, like all of the stuff I saw about like Space Camp, like had them in like the Newton chair, like, or at least like the centrifuge or whatever, where they're like the gyroscope, right?
Yeah.
Where they're like, yeah, it's like, so it looked like a bunch of cool stuff where it's like, here's the science and this is what you'd have to be an astronaut. And like, I knew they weren't gonna like plug you into like actual shit astronauts are gonna do, but I figured they'd do something similar.
Yeah.
So some days would be like carnival rides, yay!
Yeah. And there was a lot that was cool, but like the first day they're like, any questions you have? When do we get to get in the Newton chair? Like, oh, you don't get to sit in the Newton chair until your 3rd year. Not in the brochure, not what the girl told us, not what anybody said when we were signing up. And I'm just like,
okay, cool. So we have to spend how much money to sit in the Newton chair?
Yeah.
Essentially, like,
yeah.
It's like, okay, so when do we get to learn about science? Oh, you didn't get to do that till 2nd year. Well, what do you do 1st year? Mostly clean up after the 2nd and 3rd years. Grab your space mop. Yay! Oh god, you took off his arm.
Yeah. So, yeah, I was so mad. But one day, like, we're sitting and we're learning about Newton's laws, and so we're just kind of sitting there, and she's like, "Who wants to learn about Newton's first law? You get to sit in the, you get to get in the Newton chair." I'm like, "Yes." So I get in there, and we threw a beanbag back and forth, and she says, "See, every action has an equal and opposite reaction," and I'm like, "Uh-huh." And I was like. And I'm like strapped into the fucking thing. Like I'm strapped in there. Like I could have been doing like 60 miles an hour and I would have been safe. But I was doing 2.
Wow.
It was sad.
Sorry I never made it to Bakura. You seem to handle yourself okay, though.
I was hungover.
Yeah, I was gonna be like, where the fuck were you, Kyle? There were bombs! I killed 60 people!
I slept in, I'm sorry.
There's not even an explanation, like, yeah, I had trouble. I was like, sorry I never made it.
Yeah, just like... Alright.
Well, having Alex flashbacks. You know?
Oh god.
I'm on my way now.
3 fucking years later.
Yeah, sorry I didn't make it. I didn't make it. I'm like, yeah, I gathered.
Oh, hey man, I haven't seen you in forever. How are you? Alright, that's every game ever.
Right. Sorry, I'm just finishing really quickly. I just know, like at the end of this academic year, when you're filling out filling out the teacher survey for Luke, it's like, so Luke, hey Kyle, so Jaden says you never even made it to that mission on Bakura, but he says he had to like disarm a bunch of bombs.
Yeah, and had to fight the Empire.
You know, like his instructions were to wait there, right? Like if he had actually listened to us, he would be dead, and the entire facility would have been gone. Where were you? I can't even remember.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to write you up on this one again.
What? Oh, come on, man. Don't be like that. Look.
I'm sorry, Kyle. At this point, you know how escalation goes. This is a verbal warning. After this, you know what happens next. Disciplinary action. One more offense. I've got to fire you, buddy.
I'm a Jedi. Where am I supposed to go?
It's not going to be my problem. Maybe you should be thinking about that right now, because I don't think there is a place for you to go. I need you to get your shit together, Kyle. People have died. Next time on Every Game Ever.